all the way down to the other Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had food from that Taco Bell before.
I
Maybe
mean,
maybe I
the
shouldn't
food's
go
the
there.
food, but it
Yeah.
took forever.
Hmm.
And there was like, when I got there, there's probably like, I would say probably 10 cars in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took 45 minutes. So you're averaging like 4 to 5 minutes per car.
That's
That's
awful.
that's terrible.
Especially for Taco Bell, that's really bad.
Right.
Um. Oh God. Well, as you all walked in on Caleb's Taco Bell horror story. Welcome to the Master of Unlocking podcast. Uh. Yeah. So Caleb had how were the fries at least warm?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they don't actually start making your food until you get to the speaker.
Oh.
So
Okay. Okay. I got
so
you.
the food was not an issue there.
Okay, that's good. I was a little worried that yeah, it was like God, how old or how even from the speaker though to when you got your food, that
Right.
still is like
It was still like 20
that's
minutes.
still 20 minutes. So yeah, that we're in a food challenge of the week discussion already because I just felt like jumping in because why not at this
Yep.
point. So nacho fries was on the list this week, or the Bacon Club Chalupa, but I guess we decided on the nacho fries because the place I went, I ordered the Bacon Club Chalupa, and they're like, we don't have that yet, and that was on the 26th. So I was like, all right, because I stopped in a smaller town on the way home from my parents' house, so they did not have it, but they had the nacho fries, and I think that was just a really bad Taco Bell. Because I've had the nacho fries before, and they're much better than that. Like these were some soggy ass nacho fries, and these were the
Oh,
worst nacho fries I've had. Because yeah, they need that nice crispiness to dip in the
yeah.
sauce. Yeah, like it's so bad Taco Bell. So, but I guess after your 20 minutes in the or 45 minutes in the drive-through, how were your nacho fries?
I mean, they're delicious.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
should
they
we do
are.
like a ranking of fries? I don't know how to describe this.
Okay. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You know, we had talked about for Game of the Year doing the McNugget challenge, but what if we just went to everywhere's fast food and got all their fries?
God.
We've done the cheeseburger challenge before,
Yeah.
where we've
Yeah.
gone to every
I would
fast
do
food
that.
place and gotten all their burgers and
So
tried.
is this a blind? We're guessing.
Oh, even better. I like it.
Same thing we did
I
with
like where this
cheeseburgers
is
with
headed.
fries.
Yeah, I
I
like where
think
this is going.
so.
Okay.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to comment if you want to see us do the French fry
French
challenge.
challenge.
List the restaurants below. Thank you so much. Enjoy the master. Wait, did we all start? We already started.
We already started. It's fine. No, you're good. I like the.
I should have done that at the top. I'm sorry. It's just,
No, it's.
I'm new at this. I don't know.
We don't ask people to do these things, and that's why no one watches our videos. So that's
The
why.
only,
Yeah.
the only issue with that, Logan, is that these drive-throughs. This is not the first time that I've had a very slow
No.
drive-through. So
No,
by the
it's
time we
not.
get back after going through 2 or 3, it might be cold.
They might not be
What if
great
we-
fries.
What if we pay up and we door dashed them all, and then we threw them in
Ooh.
the oven?
That's
Real
gonna be
quick.
expensive as hell.
You're right.
Just DoorDash and French fries.
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, they're gonna have like a $3 minimum. The fries are gonna be $3 for a small. The delivery fee is gonna be like $3. So like $12 for a small fry.
We're gonna
No,
need like
we're-
otherwise.
And the DoorDash driver is just gonna drive through the drive-through anyway.
I know.
True.
I was just trying to think of a way where we're not driving
Yeah.
all over the place because
Maybe this doesn't work,
This
but
list.
yeah.
It's a large
Let's
list.
think of the logistics. Let's think about it.
Well, we need to maybe
Okay.
rethink about this for a day that maybe we do like we have a little of a smaller army that we can pull from to
Yeah.
have a central location to meet like at a random park. I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyway,
the,
we'll
nacho fries.
we'll
9 out of 10.
mull
They're
that over.
very good.
Yeah, I would say I in my past experience of nacho fries, and I would say an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't say a 9, but I would say an 8. Jason, where are you at on the nacho fry experience?
They're amazing. 9.
They're a
They're
9.
good.
Okay.
They're always good. I've never had bad nacho fries. Lucky me, I've never had.
Maybe it's because I
what
had
you
one
did.
bad nacho fry. But yeah, those things are solid. Solid nacho fries.
Have we seen the marketing campaign for them
Not this new one. No, have you?
with Steve from Stranger Things?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's good. Go to Google when you get a second.
Mm.
Their who was Fergie's husband? What's his
Josh
name?
Jamal.
Yeah, do you remember
Oh, his was
his
great.
nacho fry?
Those were so good.
This one's it's not quite there because those were like, like he's going crazy and there's a
S tier.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yes, it's S tier, but this one's good.
Mhm.
Steve from Stranger Things does a nice job. I'm sorry, I don't know what the actor's name is, but it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's right there. Those nacho fries commercials, pretty good, pretty good.
all right. Does anyone have anything for next week? Or what are
Oh,
we do?
I always forget to look.
What are we doing next week? Do we? I guess we next week was supposed to be game of the year. Are we taking a breather up until, or is next week just we're going to do game of the year and whether it falls on Sunday or whether it falls on Monday or Friday or whenever we end up deciding to do game of the year? Maybe that's just the.
Let's just drop the food, whatever food thing that happens. We'll just talk about it or do a video.
We can IM it. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll throw it in the Discord, and if it shows up, it shows up.
There will be some sort of food extravaganza or experiment or something along those lines that we'll do.
Yes.
I have one that I want to try now.
Oh no, what?
Okay.
Because we.
TGI Fridays has announced the Cluck It Bucket.
The problem is our Fridays closed early on in the pandemic, so we're gonna
Oh,
need to
did
drive
it?
to another town.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Um,
know ours closed.
I think, yeah, it's probably gonna be 45 minutes to the nearest TGI Fridays at this
Okay,
point.
never mind. DoorDash.
DoorDash from East Peoria, I think is the closest. No, that one closed too. I think they're closing all over the country.
Okay, well, the only other thing that I see here is that Applebee's has wonton tacos. But we could just do our stupid whatever challenge.
was it 120 McNuggets? Is that what we were doing?
I don't remember.
120 seems like a lot.
I think initially I suggested 100 and you thought it was too low.
'Cause that's 33 nuggets a piece. 33 and a third.
I think you countered with 150 and we met somewhere in the middle. I think is how that played out.
That sounds like a conversation the two of you would have.
Yes, it does.
I
Yeah.
don't remember either, but it sounds like your individual perspective is pretty right on that, Caleb.
That's probably right. Because, yeah, after I did the Vinny Challenge last year with the. Was that last year or 2 years ago now?
That's way more food than 50 nuggets.
That's true. That was
It is.
that was a medium pizza, garlic nuggets, or the whatever that thing, that
Garlic bread.
garlic cheese bread, and wings, and a 2 liter of soda.
Yeah.
It took me 6 hours, but I did it.
I say we table this and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
my opinion.
Yep.
We'll do something, and it could be its own little individual video, perhaps.
Perhaps. Or we do it while doing game of the year, and it's the most painful experience ever.
Yeah,
We all
I
just
don't
like-
know about that.
Yeah,
You know what?
I don't know. I think
would
that
like-
game's.
Do whatever you want. I gotta go to the bathroom. Do whatever
It's
you
not.
want.
I don't think it makes the top 10. Or just.
Yeah. What's wrong? What's wrong, Caleb? What do you? So you really wanted in the top 10? Let's sit here and talk about it. Nope. You got to go to the bathroom. No.
Oh.
No. Let's sit here and talk about it. Oh, it can leave the top 10. All right, go ahead. Let's take a break.
Yeah, the McNugget shit sweats. Just. Oh gosh. So let's get into games, I guess, for the week. So, Caleb, you said you really hadn't played much, right? You played a
Yeah,
little Yakuza, maybe?
I want 1 minute here to talk about my experience with Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, okay. You want to start with that? Okay.
Yeah, I'll just start with that.
GameSpot's Game of the Year Half-Life.
Oh,
Alyx.
really? It was.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Let me double check that while you're talking, Caleb. But I'm pretty sure
So
that they.
I put on the Oculus, which I borrowed. It is not
Mhm.
mine. I did not pay for this thing. Make that clear.
Mm.
Got everything set up, installed it, got it working, and I played for about 10 minutes. And this giant robot thing. So you're it starts out on top of you're on a rooftop and you're watching a video. You're like video conferencing with another character,
Hmm.
and then it kind of gives you control. So I'm on this rooftop and I go to the other side of the rooftop. This giant mechanical spider thing has this big leg that plants down right in front of you, and it scared the crap out of me. So I ripped off the VR helmet and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
That's it.
So then I went I did some research. I was like, how scary is this game? Are there jump scares, stuff like that? And for the most part, people were saying that there's not a whole lot of scary stuff in there,
Mm.
but apparently there's one section that's like notoriously bad about being scary and tense.
Hmm.
In VR, I can't do that. I can't handle that.
Really? I didn't know that.
So
Yeah, I guess like I would have not thought that you'd have been that have been a thing that turned you away.
I am like when it comes to horror, I am a lightweight. I can't deal with it.
But like you're
And
okay with like Resident Evil, Dead Space, that
oh,
kind of
that's
stuff?
I mean that's on a flat screen. Like
Mm.
that's I see the space around the TV, you know? Like I can separate that from fiction versus reality
Mm.
pretty easily. And in
So,
VR that's a different story. It's too much.
hey Jason, I know where he lives. Do you want to go scratch some windows or something tonight?
I
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I
In
didn't-
fact, because I can quickly even run over there if I need to pull
Ooh,
this
yeah.
scam off, which is
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, because technically you are master of unlocking Studio Central.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
Yeah.
if he lived at his old house, no, Logan, I'm not interested. No,
Oh,
too
okay.
far.
Yeah, that's too far. Yeah, that's just that was like a 6 minute drive. I mean, that was just too much.
It's too much. Nope, too far. Too far. I would prefer the 7 minute walk.
Yeah.
So you
So
could probably like stand in your yard and throw rocks and hit my house.
Let's just I'll just do that.
mm,
No, hold on. Let me Amazon a drone real quick, and then we'll go from there.
I was gonna say we could. There's too many trees though. That street that you live on has too many trees on it. But
Caleb, I just lost $500 in your backyard. Will you get it for me?
yeah,
No. It's a drone. It's not actual money, but either way, it was a waste.
it's hanging in that very large tree back there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So,
Yeah, so
okay.
after looking it up and seeing that like nobody was even mentioning that very first part as a spot that scared them. So I was like, if I'm scared
Oh.
at a part where nobody cared about, then what's gonna happen when I get to the part people are saying is scary?
Hmm.
So it just kind of I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way and I'm just not gonna play it.
Interesting. The
Yeah,
only-
so I can confirm that it is GameSpot's game of the year. It's been on a few other lists that I've seen.
yeah.
I thought I would get a chance to play this, but I didn't. So we're not doing blind spots this year, but
Well,
blind
there it
spot of
is.
ours.
Because
Yeah.
you get a pretty beefy PC and an Oculus to run
How
it.
was the,
So-
it's got a 2 series graphics card in it. The machine you used, right?
I just use my machine.
Oh, of course. So well then it would run well. Yeah, that's right.
Is that on like a
Okay.
Quest or anything? Like one of the ones that you can just the PC
think
list
so.
ones?
I think you can do that.
Yeah, because I think it's on all of the stores, like the Oculus owned platform, and then any other VR store that has any VR technology. So Steam, and then the Oculus store, and other places. So
I have a neighbor who has one. Maybe I'll see about.
there you go.
I might have to see about borrowing his maybe to do that.
Let's revisit that topic when we get to our list.
Yeah,
And
let's do that.
decide whether or not we hate something enough to put a potential game that Logan might play, Caleb put down, and I won't play on the list.
I know, right? Yeah,
Because there might be something that we just don't like enough to remove. We'll see.
that's true. All right. So you guys both have been playing Yakuza Lad like a dragon, how's that going for everybody? Because Jason, you seem pretty happy with it at this point.
I did not land on Yakuza like a dragon. Yakuza like a dragon landed on me. I I did not. I did not see this coming. I I really like it. I mean, I like it a lot. Um, it's the I will say to you guys, since this is our safe place,
Hmm.
um, it depends on the type of games media you consume. It does not do everything culturally correctly or sensitively, but
Hmm.
it's innocent enough that it's not like overtly it's not overtly offensive. Especially because the game surrounds most of the characters are homeless at one point in time or another. So that could probably be handled with a little more sensitivity, but at the same time, it's not like overtly offensive. And it doesn't try to be anything that it's not in the way that um, you can be a bit of a snob and assume you know what it's like to be homeless. Luckily, none of us do really. So I don't want to put myself in someone's shoes, but I don't want to go as far as to say that people are being overly sensitive about this game in that way. But um, I guess I respect that is what I'm saying. But I don't see it, or I'm not really offended by it in that way. That's really the only gripe I've heard about it, to be honest, or the thing that it doesn't really nail. Otherwise, it is full of just chuckle, some laugh out loud. It's funny. It's genuinely funny. I think some of that has to do with Troy Baker's performance. He definitely carries the weight in that regard for me, and um, it's because I said this is a safe place. If you think that Family Guy or an American Dad are funny, you're gonna think this game's funny.
It's
It's
silly.
it it
It's
Because it's
hits that
silly.
yes,
yeah.
it hits those notes pitch perfect. Like you're so aware of what you're doing here. That's so funny. Like it's self-deprecating. It makes fun of itself all the time. And every time it does, it is like "Ah, that's pretty that's pretty all right. That's pretty good. It's just so yeah, it's really genuinely funny. Um and I like it a lot more than I thought. In fact, I wish that much in the way that I used to wish that they would make more Western RPGs. Like I would love to see what something like this looked like as a Western RPG because the combat in the game is you just randomly fighting people in the streets, and whether or not it's actually happening doesn't matter because Ichiban's a little crazy, and so he has basically made it like, all right, I'm so down. I am at the bottom. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pretend that the world is Dragon Quest. And that has him and his party randomly fighting people in strip malls and on the streets and at taxi cab hubs, like just randomly throughout. And I don't know, like, if there was like a fictional Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, like would we like a game that just had random people fighting in the streets? Would that be weird? Do you guys think that would be weird? Because that's what's happening in
Well,
this
but I
fictional
mean,
Japan.
the people you're fighting are like thugs and Yakuza, and it's not just
Not always.
okay. So far for me, it's always been
It's like mysterious men or shady men or Yakuza or thugs, right? People that have it coming. There was one guy who was what was the name? He was slippery city slicker. City slicker was this character, this guy, this random. What would you call that? Like, what would you call random RPG enemy? I don't know. Maybe that's
fodder.
the word for it. Yes, fodder,
Hmm.
creeping away or whatever. Um, he's he's got himself a he's got on a speedo or like maybe undies, and he's got himself a Nuru massage inflatable, and he's called the City Slicker. And so he's sliding around, and he goes to attack you, and he's so oiled up that he slips and falls, and that's it. And you get experience. It's so I'm like, I'm waiting for the attack, and then he just slips. XP pops, and you're good, and he's done. So that's the kind of stuff that That's the kind of gross stuff that
Yeah,
this game will give you.
I do wish that it would pick up the pace a little bit because every
It's
time I go to
long.
play it, I'm just like, I am ready to play some video game here, and you just keep handing me long cutscenes.
Caleb, it's like I think it's like 6 hours of that. It's a while. I am 11 in, and I feel like probably like hour 7 is when I finally started exploring on my own and going from location to location. But still, even as I go through, like there's long story beats. Characters talk for a while, but for me, I'm generally surprised. I'm not bored by anything that they're saying because it's fairly unique. Like I haven't played a game like this before. Maybe this is like a common Yakuza thing where they spend a lot of time talking, like Tarantino levels of talking, before you actually get to the dungeon. Logan, it's structured a lot like Persona. Like there are battles on the streets, but then when you go to like the main story beat
You're there for a
in
while.
in there, you go to that dungeon, and there are no saves between like save rooms, just like Persona. Now they're not dungeons in the way that Persona is, but they are like you're locked into a building
For lack of a
and you're
better
going
term, it's a
from
dungeon. Yeah.
yes, it is exactly that. And so I've done two. I've done two of those, and at the end there's a major boss fight and a big story beat. And really, the big takeaway is like Ichiban is he just wants to help people. Like it's like a feel good thing. Like why does he want to do it? Because he doesn't have anything else going on. He's literally circled the drain, and now he's trying to pick himself back up and help as many people along the way. And it's like I don't know. It's a very like noble thing. Like you can identify with Ichiban because he's he's down and out, and now wants to pick himself back up and pick others up with him. And it's good. It's good. Mix that in with how funny it is. I like it a lot. I'm super surprised because I thought I was gonna gamefly this, play it once or twice, and then be like, well, checked it off the list. I don't know, man. I think I might play it for a long time.
Hmm. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna squeeze this in to at least check out, especially when you say it doesn't really get moving for 4 or 5 hours. That's
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah,
That's what I am. I'm
I don't
probably
know.
about 5 hours in, and I'm just every time I load it up, it's just another long cutscene. And I watch the one cutscene, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to watch any more of this right now. I want to play. If I'm gonna play a game, I want to play a game. Um, but maybe once you get past that, it gets better about that kind of stuff. I don't know.
I feel like I'm past it now, but like I said, I'm
You said like
just
7 hours?
12 hours in. 12.
Well, you were saying like 7 hours in was kind of where it
Yes.
finally like I don't know if I've got that in me to do that. I'll try to give it a shot because is it just like watching an anime basically at that point ahead of it, or is it like a weird mix between like anime and Tarantino?
It's
No,
more
it's
serious than anime.
yeah.
Um, it's it's a gangster story for sure.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's just that the main character is a goofy, silly dude in the middle, wrapped up in all of it.
And then it kind of that's hard, Logan, because like at the beginning it is very serious, and at the point where I am, it's not. Like it goes like it ebbs and flows. You
Persona
know,
did that too. I mean, there was a lot of serious, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're doing some goofy thrown in there too.
is it
So
the yeah with especially in relationship to Persona 5, it's the teacher Ka I can't remember his name.
Kamoshida.
Kawakami?
Sorry. Kamoshida,
Oh,
thank you.
Kamoshida.
Like that goes in a pretty grim
Oh, you're going that
slot.
Right
way.
off, yeah.
I thought you were going the other way with the weird
Kawaka-
relationship.
Kawakami.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
There's a
But
teacher on
then
each side of that spectrum.
you're right. Yes. 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 And then Persona takes a breather with you for a little while, where it lets you have some laughs, right? And this does the same thing. But it's the first like 5 or 6 hours,
heavy-handed.
Yeah, it explains to you what the Japanese mafia is like, you know, and what happens to Ichiban in relationship to his role within the organization. Um, and so I don't know how to solve that. Like I don't know how to solve it, Logan, other than saying like you either it's a huge commitment. Like it's a huge
Yeah.
commitment and not one that I would ask you to make. But I will say that I like this game a lot, and I'm really glad I gave it a chance. But it took me like it's all I played with my free time this week. And I didn't have a ton of free time this week, but it's the only thing that I committed to, because I wanted to give it a shot, and the only way I could give it a shot is if I did that. So
I'm
I would understand if you didn't want to do that.
give it a.
but
I'll
we'll just
give it
have
a
to
shot. I
rely on
gotta.
you,
I gotta
Caleb.
go find a way to get a copy of it here, without buying it. But I'll figure something out.
Yeah, might be able to help you with that. I just need to look at the how much it is retail because I'm probably gonna buy it.
Oh, you are. Well, I guess yeah. If you're
hmm
game flying it and
Which
just gonna
means
hold on to it, then
you can just have my gameplay copy then.
for like a
If
few
you
days or something.
if either of you end up buying it
hmm
and you get a non-steelbook copy, I
Huh.
would gladly
Okay.
trade you for a steelbook
Okay.
copy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you hate steelbooks, right?
I don't like steelbooks.
Yeah, because I have a because I got Persona 5,
Yeah.
a regular version, and you got the steelbook, and we swapped.
Yeah, this actually came with 2 different steelbooks for some reason, but not a regular case. So,
Mm. But you're playing on Xbox, aren't you, Jason?
I am.
Because didn't you
Oh.
buy you bought a PS5, didn't you, Caleb?
yeah, well, it's the PS4 version.
Oh, but it
The
upgrades.
PS5 version isn't out, I think, until March, April, something like that.
Mm.
That's really interesting. So the proper PS5 version isn't launching till later.
It's that weird Sega Xbox thing they've got going on.
Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
probably actually playing the Xbox One version of the game right now.
Hmm. It says optimized for Series X when I upload when I
well,
boot
I
it
think
up.
biased
hmm
is that's different than being a
Based on the platform,
like an
yeah.
actual
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's technically a cross-gen game is for Xbox. I think that was the initial plan for that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll figure something out. Yeah. So, speaking of GameFly games that you thought you were gonna check out for a week and then send back, well, I'll be sending Assassin's Creed back tomorrow. Um, I played a little bit more of that, and that's another investment that I just don't have the time for, and I'm not even really enjoying my small investment that I have put in with it. Uh, People lighting you on fire is rather annoying. I don't know if you guys have come across that issue.
Oh, really?
I had there was like a camp that I went to, and they were shooting fire arrows at me, and just kept getting lit on fire nonstop. So I'd have to constantly run into the water to get not on fire anymore. Uh, I mean, it was just one of those things. I was trying to roll and dodge and get away from them, and then next thing I know, I'd roll into an actual exploding barrel, and that just caught me on fire more. Um,
Hmm.
so
Yes.
maybe
I
I'm
could see
just
how that would be a
so maybe
compounding issue.
so maybe I'm just bad at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That could also be a thing.
Were you properly leveled for this area? Were you even supposed to be in this area?
Yeah, I was a story beat that I was. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't like I had just gone there for no reason. I mean, I got past it after like 2 tries. It wasn't like a huge deal, but
Oh.
no, but it was still just annoying that I was like, why am I constantly having to go into the water to
Two
get this-
tries. You had me thinking you were like doing this for hours.
No, more just annoyed. Well, I'm
Okay.
not used to I'm not used to dying in video games a lot. I guess that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Like,
What is he
Mr.
talking about,
Gamer
Caleb?
over here.
I don't die.
okay, well, in that type of game, let's put it that way. Like, there's games that I die in, but like,
You need to spend some more time with Demon Souls, my man.
yeah, I did, and I got
God.
and I died too much, and I got annoyed.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would like my 15 hours back so I could put those into Yakuza Yakuza, if that'd be okay with you, Caleb.
Right.
Jeez.
Uh, Either way, I mean, yeah, that's just like I said. I don't have much else to say other than what I said last week. I did go back and I at least I went to back to Cyberpunk and I finished Act One. So I can at least say that I've finished Act One. Um, because you guys are all just a little bit past Act One, is that right?
Just
Yeah,
barely.
just
Just
barely.
barely.
I think
Okay.
we're all pretty much in the same spot then, if that's what you got
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
Everyone stop
Like
and play Yakuza. No.
okay. Okay. Yeah. So
Well, at
guys,
least we can talk about that when it comes to Game of the Year.
yeah, we'll at least be like, okay, how was
Yeah.
Act One of Cyberpunk? Like
Right.
that will be that is Act One of Cyberpunk is considered for Game of the Year 2020. The rest of Cyberpunk is considered for 2021.
Just like Cyberpunk itself, our review of Cyberpunk will be incomplete.
Yes. Very much so.
I could not be more comfortable with this decision.
Because the
feel
thing
great
is,
about it.
like, I love a lot of stuff about that game, but my God, why can't I click the button in the elevator? Like, I had to reload a save because the button in the elevator didn't work. Like, I
Logan,
mean,
it's just like
it's
everything.
it's everything around that game, and this is even supposed to be, patched. So on a Series X. So we'll just, yeah. Boy, I hope that game gets fixed because I was having fun with it when it worked. So anyway, the other thing I've been playing, I guess, because I assume you guys are done with games, right? Since you've
Yep.
just pretty much just been playing Yakuza, I dove into the My Player in NBA 2K21. So that has a story every year, uh, which I mean, when was the last time
Story. Use air quotes here.
story
I don't know
every
about
year?
this year, but some of them have
Well,
been...
there was the year that like Spike Lee was like did one, and it was like crazy, and you talked to a ghost the whole
Yeah.
time or something. So when was the last time either of you actually played a story version of this? Like
the one before that.
Okay, I'm trying
'Cause
to
I
remember.
remember hearing about the Spike Lee one and being like, oh, maybe I should go back and try that one too, but I never did.
Okay, this one. Detroit Become Humans. Jesse Williams. He's also in like other movies and Grey's Anatomy and all that stuff. So he was the main character a couple of years ago, I think. Which I don't understand how this is, but somehow you are his son in this game. Who's like already like old enough to be playing, but you start off in high school. And Digimon Hisanu. Do you know the actor? If I'm saying the name right, Digimon Hisanu. Let me pull up his IMDb. You're his height? You're the high school. He's your high school basketball coach. I wonder if it actually has like NBA 2K21 here. Digimon Hisanu was in Blood Diamond.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Then.
Guardians of the Galaxy, like he was in that. So yeah, either way, yeah. So let me pull up his face here. Maybe that will help. Caleb, anything?
Nope. I got nothing.
Okay,
I gotcha.
gotcha.
Yeah, I
Okay,
gotcha.
all right. So he's your head coach, and then you're in high school at this point. So you start actually off in high school. You play like 3 high school games. And then Michael K. Williams shows up. Now Jason perked up a little bit. And he essentially wants to be like Flash Flanagan. Because no one, Caleb, you have no idea who Flash Flanagan is. Jason does.
You're just saying words at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the reference that 2 people on Earth get.
Right, yeah. So it's basically a guy he acts as like an agent for high school kids who's trying to get them like college gigs and stuff like that. Essentially trying to help get them exposure in hopes that they'll give them money later on in life. It's kind of a weird thing. So he shows up and he's trying to get you to go to the G League to make some money so that you can pay him. But then, so you have a choice to make of whether you want to go to the G League or whether you want to go to college. I said you're a shady dude, and because he is shady as hell. And I went to college, so right now I'm in Gonzaga with Black Mark Few as my coach. It's a little odd. They didn't get the rights to the coaches.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird. Uh, so I'm a few games in there. I've got a girlfriend. I've got some. Oh, what would you call her? She's essentially like an NBA draft blogger who is like following me around and like giving me challenges to do every game. Otherwise, she's going to talk shit about me on her video podcast. So she's like, if you don't drop 20 tonight with a win, she's like, I'm gonna tell you everybody that you suck and your draft stock's gonna drop and you're gonna go late second round. I'm like, bitch, don't no. Like, she shows up on the bus and she's like, hey, I heard you got a girlfriend now. How's that affecting your game? Like, stop it. Like, it's kind of annoying. Like, she's all up in my business about stuff. Um, but I'm still having fun with it. I guess like it's kind of a weird thing. I was way behind in podcasts to listen to, so I've been listening to podcasts and playing 2K, uh, and then pausing it when the weird story stuff comes around. And
Does this have the same problem that I always have with these games and start you out at way too low of stats?
no, I'm not
Okay.
that bad. Um, there's still the whole thing of like because like you create your player, and in high school like I was averaging in 5 minute quarters, I was averaging like 27 points a game, so like I was still doing very well. In college I'm not scoring as much, but I'm finding it's because the offense doesn't run through me.
Mm.
It's running through another player on the team, even though I'm supposed to be the star of the team, but I can't seem to get a play to run my direction. So I'm only getting like 15 points in college, where the other guy's getting like mid 20s. Um, so, but yeah, otherwise it seems to, it has the same virtual currency problem, that's for sure, where it's like, hey, you want to get better faster? Pay for it. No thanks. But I don't feel like I'm getting shit on either of like a, hey, I'm not. There was a year that I played this, and I can't remember what year it was, but it was like, yeah, you got 39 virtual currency this game, and oh, you want to increase one stat? That's 100 points. Where
Yeah.
here I'm getting, on average, 5 to 600 virtual currency a game, and each like bump up in stat, depending on where you are, is about 100 VC. If you start to put yourself like over a 75, then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's like 500. So if you really want to make yourself a sharpshooter or something, like it's going to cost you a little bit more. Um, so so I'm doing okay stats wise with that, but and
Okay.
the story is enough to keep me playing it, as especially because I like the game and I'm having fun with it this year. I scanned myself picture wise, did the whole thing of like this. It oddly enough looks like me, but for whatever reason, they constantly refer to you as Junior because you're Jesse Williams' kid. So they always refer to you as Junior, but you put your name in. Like I put my name in, and it said my name on the screen all the time and on the back of my jersey and everything. And for whatever reason, as soon as I went to Gonzaga, Junior's on the back of my jersey now, and my name doesn't exist anymore.
Interesting.
I think it might be a glitch more than anything, because I can't find anywhere where I would plug my name in or edit my name or anything at this point. I can edit my jersey number at any point in time, but I can't edit anything else. So it seems like it's just a weird thing that all of a sudden I lost my name. Mm. So anyway, uh, yeah, I like 2K. It's fun this year. That's all I have to say. I guess. Haven't.
Yeah, you're more interested in pursuing the my player than like competitively playing it, right?
Oh
That's the
yeah, I'm
you're into.
I'm I'm not good enough at 2K to go online and even act like I have a chance. And I don't think I'm going to put the time and effort in to get that good. So this is me having fun with 2K.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I get that.
mhm.
You get to play a new next gen game and enjoy the experience. And that's one of those games you kind of can see the visual leap. So
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And yeah, because if I went out there and got beat by 30 every game online, I wouldn't be having fun anymore. And
Sure.
here I can just go and play my stupid created player and just mess around with it and have fun and listen to a podcast or something. It's a nice relaxing experience compared to some other things.
Sure.
So so yeah, that's I think where I'm at. As for when we get to Game of the Year stuff here, I think I'll try Yakuza, and I think then I've at least played everything for the year, so I feel good about where I'm at then. I don't know if I'll get a chance to go back and I think Caleb, you were talking about going back and revisiting some of those bottom of your top 10 list games.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a little bit of that the other day with when I got my Series X. I kind of fired up a couple things just to, oh hey, let's see how they look on a Series X kind of thing. And okay, like I messed around with it for a few minutes and
Yeah.
it's different stuff
It
like
was
that.
nice kind of being like, all right, here's like 8 or 9 games, and I have 5 slots to fill.
hmm
Which ones are going to be in there?
I have my top 10 list written out,
I do too.
and I feel okay about it right now. Like,
I could see one thing changing on mine, but it's pretty solid.
yeah, I think if unless unless something really shocks me with Yakuza, then I think it's locked in. But I think so. But we will
I
see.
certainly thought mine was before I played a particular JRPG,
hmm
and then that just turned my freaking list upside down. I was like you guys. I thought that I had it figured out, and now I'm trying to decide what needs to come off.
Yeah, I guess
Because
yeah,
like
yeah. If you think something's gonna, yeah, because I've at least played
yeah,
everything. So, uh, what do we got for TV this week? Or do we want to? I don't know if anybody's really watched anything. I've oddly enough watched a few things, but
There was a new season of Letterkenny that just came out. I know you guys don't really watch that show,
I tried.
um, but it's decent. It's not their best season. It's definitely not their worst though. But it's a comedy. So like, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe comedies without just like rehashing jokes that are in them.
Yeah, no, I get
So
it.
I guess I'll just leave it at that. I really liked, and this is also season 9, I think, or something. So
Yeah, it's been
like,
around for a while now.
if you know if you like Letterkenny or not. So
Mm.
the other thing I watched was I actually watched all 4 seasons of Brockmire in the past couple
Mm.
weeks. That
awesome.
show is really good.
I think I finished season 2.
Okay.
I need to go. I would like to go back and watch that. I forget about it.
Season 3
Me
was
too.
probably the low point for me.
Okay.
Didn't really connect with it too much, but then season 4 is really, really good again.
Okay. They're quick, easy watches too. I feel like
Yeah.
those are easy shows to watch because that started on IFC and then I think now it's just on Hulu or something like that. Is that right? Or is they all still on IFC?
Yes. Oh, I think it's on. Well, I think it did air on IFC, but I think you
Okay.
can watch them all on Hulu.
Okay. I think that's where I watched season 2 was on Hulu. Uh, Hank Azaria, funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always.
And
Go
like
figure.
I didn't think at the end of this show I'd be like emotional about it ending, but it actually turns that corner and comes all the way around. When you first meet him, he's like the scum of the earth. He's
hmm
like the worst person on the planet. But by the end of that show, it's like you feel for him. It's crazy how they transformed him throughout that.
Another one of those shows, like I mean, Ted Lasso, kind of thing. I mean, I think Ted Lasso is a better show, but the fact that it originated from a bit that Hank
Yeah.
Azaria did for like what was it, like a minute and a half random bit that he did, the, and then it turned into a TV show. Like who knew?
Yeah, so season 4 it takes place like in the future. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Mm-mm.
So it's like things about baseball are changing quickly, or people are trying to make them change quickly. So there's a lot of discussion in there about like robot umpires and like different bats and virtual like VR technology with baseball. It's crazy. It goes in a really weird direction that you
Hmm.
like I did not expect at all, but it works. It really works.
Hmm. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that's something that'd be a good like end of day watch an episode here and
Yeah.
there kind of show. Uh, I finished The Mandalorian. Uh, you were right that the last two episodes of this season were really really good. Like they were.
Especially that last one. The last
I
one
like the
a
one
lot.
before it too with Bill Burr. That Bill Burr, kind of a random guy who was a stand-up comic and then all of a sudden became popular with a podcast, and all of a sudden is like got a couple acting gigs, is doing all right with himself. Like it's just kind of random to see him in that role and do pretty good with it. But I liked those last two episodes. I thought were really good. Um, I wish I hadn't been spoiled on the ending.
Oh, you were spoiled.
Yes. Damn internet, they just can't keep. So I was spoiled because I during the day I throw on or I have Twitter open on my desktop like at work, and like there's the little trending bar, and that morning that it was released at midnight, that was the number one trend, the name of the person.
Yeah, I knew that there was going to be a cameo, but I didn't know who it was.
Mm.
Um, I mean, if you know there's a cameo at some point, you
It's like
you
10
figure it
people.
out pretty
Yeah, you
quickly.
gotta. Yeah, and really, like that was probably a top five or top three choice. I mean, it was. But man, that I've got more respect for that show than I did 6 weeks ago. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where that show goes from here. If it does go anywhere
So
from here,
at the after the did you watch after the credits?
yeah, which I knew about because of the Disney investor call. But
Yeah, so it
uh,
seems like season 3 is going to be based on different characters,
oh, so like they're not, like it's gonna be, so it's not gonna be focused on that Mandalorian. It's gonna be focused on.
a different Mandalorian, yeah. And
Okay,
I won't spoil which Mandalorian, but again, it's pretty
it's
easy to
kind of a
figure out.
yeah. It's like what other one was it based on? Like, um,
But that's what it seems like to me is that season 3 will move in a different direction, and maybe they'll converge back or something like that.
they'll probably be yeah. I mean, which they because they've got those two other the blue Mandalorian people, Katie Sackhoff and Sasha Banks. Oddly enough,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Jason, one of the other Mandalorians is Sasha Banks. He's
Hmm.
not impressed.
Okay then.
Jason could not be more bored with this conversation.
I know, right?
I don't watch the show, so
Hmm.
and I'm not a big Star Wars guy at all.
There you go.
But I hear it's very popular, and I heard something about a Baby Yoda one time.
Hmm. Grogu.
Grogu.
Hmm.
That's
Worst
his
name.
name, Grogu.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't give him a name until like episode probably what of 13 of 16, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
got it.
so yeah, I enjoyed that show for what it was, and then turned around and started watching Normal People on Hulu.
I have watched that.
Uh,
What do you think of that show?
What do you think of that show?
so I like it, but I'm so freaking annoyed at the characters, like and their decision making. Like I just want to slap
Yeah.
all of them, but yet still keep watching it for whatever reason. I'm on we just finished episode 4 of 8, so we're halfway through. Uh,
There's only 8 episodes?
I think right.
Man, it felt like that show went on forever.
Let
I
me
got bored with it.
let me double
But
check.
I pushed through to the end, but I begrudgingly watched the last few.
Begrudgingly watched the last few. Uh,
Yeesh.
yeah, what is that? Yeah, let me double check here. Oh, it is 12. Sorry.
Okay.
It is 12 episodes. So yeah, we finished episode 4. Um, man, yeah, I don't know about that show. Like, I keep thinking
It got too circular for me. Like you
and there's
knew
nothing
exactly what was going to happen
So yeah,
because
so Jason, the show is about it's set in Ireland, and it's set around two people who essentially
they're normal.
they're but they're far from it. Like it just follows them through like their relationship, and it starts with them in what I guess is high school.
Yeah, high
Yeah,
school.
it's odd because they like can go to bars and drink in high school, but I think that's an
Yeah,
Ireland
well, the
thing.
drinking age everywhere else is usually 18. So
Okay, so from an American standpoint, it's a little odd.
and also even if they weren't that, it's also set in a small town, so you could see how that you know they're not going to get carded if you know the bartender
Right.
type of thing.
Um, like the I mean, this is all set up like the first episode. Basically, there's a girl in school. She's kind of different, like not very popular, but her parents are rich, and she's just kind of her own like weird, odd person to begin with. Very plain Jane, I guess, for lack of a better term, too. And then the main guy is like the star football player slash soccer player. Uh, one of the
Football. Got
football,
it.
football. Uh,
Football.
uh, Good looking athlete, popular, but like his mom, like doesn't seem like there's a dad around, and the mom cleans houses for a living, and it just happens to be that the mom cleans this girl's house, this other girl's house, which really doesn't come into play for a while. Um, and then ultimately these two end up in a relationship, but they both agree that they don't want their relationship public because it would kind of hurt each one of their reputations if their relationship was public. Uh,
Got it. I
It's a
think that just clicked. I have seen the trailer or the commercial for this.
it's
That just that right there, that
mhm.
interaction. Okay, I
but
know
it's
what show
just
you're talking about now.
it's that same interaction like over and over and over and like they don't okay, well we're going to break up because you did this thing and I don't like it, and then we're going to get back together but we have to be secret about it, but oh you're going to tell this one person. It's just a cycle and it just got really old to me.
Mhm.
Okay.
So right now, they are now in college for me. So they've done the high school thing, and now they're in college. Um, and I think this kind of goes on, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah,
mhm. So it's supposed to
yeah.
go like through like 10 years of their life of their throughout their relationship, and
It's and I don't necessarily mind that like you take a section of people's lives and you tell that story
mhm.
even if it's not super interesting, but this one for whatever reason is just the character is just kind of like you said earlier, like they are always making the decision where you're like
Like,
if you did this
why?
do this
Yeah.
everything would be fine right now, but instead you're just being really dumb about
Like, you
this
guys
and
can't get over
immature.
yourselves, and yeah, very
Yeah,
immature, and it's just like, ugh. Like, and like the whole thing too. It's like I don't know if they just why they did this, but it was, it was the his friends in high school. Like they were like, oh yeah, Marianne is just ugly. Like she's one of the ugliest people in school. It's like she's more
yeah.
attractive than everyone else in the show.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure
Yep.
about this? Because yeah, like they make it's like yeah the and they don't even try to ugly her up either. It was like, oh, she's got a braid in her hair. It's like compared to this blonde girl. It was
Yeah.
like,
It's like those cheesy 90s movies where it's like they take the braid out and the glasses off and suddenly
There she
she
goes.
goes. Yep, exactly. It's Rachel Lee Cook coming down the stairs, and yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That old bit, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because there was like an episode where all of a sudden she went out, like she got all dressed up and they went out to the club, and it was, everybody was like, "Oh, Marianne's
I
looking
think
hot tonight," and it was like,
I think the reason this got so much praise is it is very well produced and very well
yes,
acted too,
yeah,
especially for teenage actors. They
hmm
do a fantastic job.
yeah, both.
I just the plot just
So
didn't.
they're legitimate teenage actors. Do
Yeah.
we know if they're like, is there a that '70s show thing going on where like Hyde's 40
Well,
and he's
I
actually
mean, they might
playing
be a little older
17?
than that,
I was
but
gonna say, I'm like, she is naked a lot in this. I would be surprised if she is like 19. Let me see how
Yeah.
old she is.
I don't
Well,
think they're like
20,
super.
22.
Yeah,
Okay. There you
and I
go.
don't think they're like really popular actors or anything either. It's just,
Yeah, I'm looking through to see if I know her from anything. She looked familiar, but at the same time, I don't see where I've seen her in anything. I mean, she's very, this is a BBC show like no other BBC show. That's, I mean, it's definitely that style of TV. Um, yeah, and I don't think I'd seen him in anything before either. He's 24, but no, he just wasn't really in anything else either. So,
yeah.
mm. But uh, and then so here, this would fall into our other category of like the God, what do you call it? The non-scripted shows.
Huh,
Uh,
there you go. Okay.
so I don't know if you guys, and this is real dumb, but you ever watch those shows on Netflix? Like I would classify them as like the VH1 talking head kind of show. Um,
Sure.
it was like there was the ones that were called the Toys That Made Us.
Hmm.
Did you ever see those? Now they
I've not watched them, but you've
okay.
told me about them.
It's like a documentary show on like, hey, how did this toy get made? Well, now they've got how that movie was made, and it starts with like big blockbuster movie kind of thing. So the first four that they did that are released were Dirty Dancing, Home Alone, Ghostbusters, and Die Hard.
Wow.
So while we were taking down the Christmas decorations last night, we threw that on and watched all four episodes because they're like 40 minutes apiece, so they're not that long. But little random tidbits about those movies. Like, here's one for on the Ghostbusters thing. The original Ghostbusters was written for three people. Dan Aykroyd wrote it, and it was supposed to be written for Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, or not, sorry, Jim Belushi, John Belushi, the one that died, and Eddie Murphy. That's who that movie was written for originally.
Wow.
And while he was, so when Dan Aykroyd turned in the script, this is all in the first 5 minutes of the show, he turned it into somebody. They were reading it. In between the time that he handed it off, John Belushi died.
Wow.
So it was just like, okay. So once they handed it off to Ivan Reitman, then Ivan Reitman, ultimately they had to rewrite a bunch of stuff and rewrote in so that Harold Ramis and uh, Bill Murray would get brought into it, and as well as Ernie Hudson. And Ernie Hudson was originally supposed to be in the movie the entire time, and come to find out, by the time they rewrote the script and after he'd auditioned and everything else, like the next thing you know, his first entrance into the movie was on page 65 of like 140. It's like, oh. Because they couldn't afford Eddie Murphy for one. After it was all over with, it was like, oh wait, we can't afford Eddie Murphy because 48 Hours had already come out, and that was, yeah, it was done. So if you ever get a minute, that if you're interested in any of those movies and how they got made, they're the Dirty Dancing one, oddly enough, I thought was really intriguing because I don't think I mean I've seen Dirty Dancing once, uh, and but it was just a lot of interesting stuff about that movie and how that was created, and so like it was made on a $4 million budget and ended up making $150 million at the box office.
Man.
Like,
Pain don't hurt. Oh wait, sorry, wrong Swayze movie. My
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Which, by the way,
Ah, that one, yes.
which
Yeah.
by the way, doesn't make any sense. Everyone hated the line when they wrote it, and but yet it was the one that everybody remembers from the movie because at the time when you actually look at it, baby is actually in the middle of the room. She's not in a corner.
Yeah, well, when Law and Order Dad says something,
I know
you listen.
you do. So that's what I watched. I don't know if you guys got anything else.
That actually, you said Netflix, and that reminded
Mm.
me. I know Caleb has finished all of Schitt's Creek, but Schitt's Creek is very good. I watch maybe one or two episodes a week of that show, and I'll probably be done by the end of the year. And it is, God, the show is so funny. God, it's funny. Yeah, I like that show a lot. I don't know if that classifies as the like adult show that you're looking for, Logan. I mean, you
Mm.
can't watch it with kids because of language,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. Man, that show's funny. Eugene Levy is he's so good. Man,
So
they're all great, and it's no wonder. I mean, they all four won
Mhm.
Emmys, so
For
go
good
figure.
reason, yeah.
But yeah, there's just that show is just fire. It's so funny. Ugh.
I need to give that. I'm gonna have to give that show a shot on my own. I think because my wife has watched it and she's like, I don't like it. I don't think it's funny. I don't get it.
The first season is a little rough.
That might be why. Because we started in season one and she was just like,
So I think with that show, the part that people identify with is the fact that it's these like snooty rich people becoming more human and likable. And at
Mm.
the beginning of that show in season one, they are only snooty rich people.
mm,
So it takes a little bit for them to get in the flow of like their redemption story and all that stuff. But once they
Mm.
do, that's when the really good episodes start hitting.
okay.
Caleb's right. There's a story beat that happens at the end. I think of the first season, Caleb, where two of their friends that they used to run in circles, wealthy circles with or whatever,
Yeah.
like fellow
Mhm.
country club family, we'll call it. They come into town and they start making fun of everyone, and it turns when they decide like, oh no, these people are actually real, genuine, honest, lovable people that care about us, and you don't care about us. You don't care about anything. All you care about is money and status. And so the second that flips and they become part of the community is when that show goes from okay to great. Like, oh my God, it's so funny. Oh man. There have been moments where I've there were a couple of tears, like just
Mm.
laughing so hard. That show is so funny. Yeah,
Mm. I'll
but I
try.
get, I get, I
Mm.
get that the first season, Caleb, you think is the weakest by far, right?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I would,
It's
I would
that way
say
with a
that.
lot of the really good comedies. Like The Office was that way, Parks and Rec was that way.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of shows that have rough first seasons that turned it around.
It's
So
it's almost like some shows need to like you have to establish a character in
yeah,
order for
yeah,
something to be now off brand for that character or something to make
yeah.
it
That's a
funny.
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. I kind of feel that way about um, Harley Quinn a little bit. Like the first two or three episodes, I was more or less just grossed out by it,
Hmm.
and then like four, five, six, seven, where it really starts rolling, and she starts to collect other cast offs.
Hmm.
That's where that show really starts to get good. And when I don't know, maybe it's like episode four when they start dunking on Bane, but then I mean, you dunk on Bane once an episode. Oh, so funny. God, so funny. God damn it!
Oh, you plugging away at that show still?
Yeah, that's really the only
Mm.
current thing that I'm watching, and it's
Mm.
been the one show I watched a lot of this week was the NBA.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So much NBA, guys. So much.
I
That's
watched the Bulls
really
get blown out twice.
I
when
get
you're
used
watching
to
a
it.
Bulls game,
Yeah.
careful. Those games should come with like some sort of like stroke warning or something.
Yeah.
They should be like
We will
Bulls
only
fan
be broadcasting
beware.
the first half of this game.
Yeah, that's put a dent in my TV time. It's because when I've sat down and even like duplicate screen stuff, like sorry, multi-screen, like there's just been so much basketball. So that's like,
Mhm.
and then my other big hobby is gambling on basketball. So it's just that's I watched just a little bit of TV this week because I was so happy to have the NBA back.
It is nice to have basketball back. That's for sure.
While Logan, while you
Mhm.
were discussing
Mhm.
TV shows,
Mhm.
let me see if I can. I have a status update for you on a particular subject we talked about. Let me see if I could just. You
Uh,
guys
oh
see what I bought
yes.
there? Yeah.
Arriving
Yep.
Wednesday. Oh, you bought both of
Yeah.
them, huh?
Both of those bad boys were on sale
Oh,
on
look at that.
Amazon,
Mhm.
but down from 60 to 40.
There you go.
So I obviously have to own MK11 Ultimate because they just don't have a choice, honestly.
That's
That's
fair.
one of my favorite games ever,
Mhm.
and one of my favorite games of this year, Yakuza. So when that shows up, I will drop my GameFly copy to you, and that will give you at least wise a little bit of time with it before we chat.
Okay. I think that works. Um, I am currently in an eBay bidding auction as well, so a bidding war that needs to that
Oh,
is
actually,
ending at 10. So I'm debating on. I'm looking at time killers right now.
I was gonna say it's Time Killers. It's totally Time Killers,
I
isn't it?
should have get. I should have made you guys guess what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's totally
it's a
Time Killers.
really nice one here. It ends in 26 minutes. I currently don't have it. It is currently at $64.
Is this
Uh,
the Genesis cart?
the
This is the
Genesis cart.
Genesis
Yeah, it's a
cart.
very nice Genesis cart with like everything looks very well. Looks very nice.
Box instructions or
Like
just cart?
box and instructions and cartridge. So it's looking nice. It has 15 bids. I'm going to be waiting until it gets much closer here, to because I don't want to. I mean, if I start bidding now, it's just going to go up. So I'm going to be waiting
Okay,
until like 2 minutes before maybe. This is
probably podcast at least twice through that moment, and then if anything else, because I want to live experience this jubilation or this disappointment when it happens.
yeah, 25 minutes and 37 seconds from now, we will know for sure. Uh,
Caleb,
actually,
Are you looking at something as
mhm.
well?
well, I was gonna say I have a little mini pile of stuff that I've just picked up, and it was just sitting right here. So,
Oh, like
Oh,
so
let's
let's
see it. Come
let's
on,
let's
let's
yeah,
see
see
yeah.
it.
what you got. Yeah.
So filling out my collection with Boy Bastards.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Okay, yeah,
good
I didn't
one.
know there was a
I
physical copy of that.
I
So,
just heard the Void Bastard music in my head. Just when he popped it up, you just can't like if you play that game, you know what that sounds
Yeah,
like.
I try to have a physical representation of everything that's in the top 10, and that was in my top 10 last year. So um, I did not own this before, so now I
oh, you
own this.
didn't. I
It was
didn't.
on sale for
Hmm.
It.
$30, so I just bought it.
Oh, I thought it was even cheaper than 30.
It
That's.
might have been,
I thought I
but
saw it for like 15 somewhere, but
um, Ori and the Will of the Wisps,
ooh,
has a roll.
yeah.
I
Got that.
didn't.
Where did you get that cheap?
What? Yeah.
I got that
Is
from
that on
GameStop.
sale
I think
there?
it was like 15. That one
Ooh.
wasn't that cheap.
Oh,
And then going
that's a
back a little bit more in
good
time,
collectible
Mhm.
price.
Luigi's Mansion on GameCube
Hmm. Okay.
and Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on GameCube. There's a
Mm.
lot of
All your
glare.
stuff looks like it's in pretty good condition,
Mhm.
to be
Yeah, these are
honest,
in pretty
too.
good shape. The Luigi's Mansion one I had to clean off quite a bit. It had a
Yeah.
lot of stickers on it, but
A lot of bong resin
including
on there.
two that were on the actual artwork and not on the plastic.
Oh
But
God,
I
really?
luckily got them off with minimal damage.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a years ago when I worked at GameStop. One of my friends, I'm still friends with, huge gamer, and genuinely nice guy. He's like, you know why I can't buy anything used in here? Y'all motherfuckers just go crazy with the stickers. You just go crazy with the stickers. I can't buy this, Jason. I can't buy this, and I was like, Smoo, I don't buy it either. I
Yeah.
can't do it either. I no. Good for you for getting those off there because sometimes, especially the ones that are put on the inside,
Yeah.
that's just like that should be some kind of international crime.
Right? Like,
What are you
for
doing?
what purpose are you putting something on the actual artwork itself? Like that
You're
makes no
just I don't
sense.
care. Yeah, even on the face, right? Like And that doesn't make sense. I did see for a while there, like the spines. We were putting stuff on the
Hmm.
spines, but like on the inside and then on the actual. But then like it was like it looked nicer when you did it that way, but it was actually like functionally untenable. Like you couldn't do that to every single game that
Yeah.
was spined. And then when the price changes happened, you want every person to pull out the artwork and change the price, like for like 500 games in 30 minutes. Oh, man, what a ugh.
Yeah, it's still Ori's still $15 at GameStop. I think I'll be buying that tonight.
Is that a sale price, by the way?
Yeah, it's fifty
Yeah.
percent off, so it's regularly
Oh,
30. So it's and I just got some GameStop gift cards for Christmas, so I
Hmm,
think I'll put that
that's
to
nice.
use. So
yeah, I just burnt through some Christmas collateral just now while we were talking. $80, boom. But they were both on sale. And I know MK11 will eventually come down, but I really want to see what it looks like on the new system because that game looks
is it not
really good
a
already.
free upgrade?
It is. It is a free upgrade.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking about
Well,
throwing it in.
sorry, it is. Sorry, it is. If you own the other, so like I could pop mine in and it is free. Absolutely,
Okay, that's what
yes,
I was
absolutely.
like, wait a minute,
But
because I was
this is
thinking
an
about doing that.
excuse to pop it in
Mm,
and see the three new characters because I don't own the three new characters.
mm.
So,
But you did buy
Rambo,
the
Rain, and Melina.
you bought the story DLC, didn't you?
I did Aftermath, yeah,
Okay.
which is also included in Ultimate if you haven't bought
Hmm.
Aftermath
So
separately.
if you don't own those three characters and you go to play online, can somebody play against you as those characters?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's
Everyone
rough.
everyone
Hmm.
has you have the library of characters, but your access to them
But
is
you're
gated by your
expected to
purchase.
play against something that you can't do yourself.
At the
That's
same time,
Yeah,
they're not considered like amped up characters though either. I mean, they still have their same strengths and weaknesses just like every other character does. Like it's not
yeah,
like
but
a
you can't go in and practice with them, and you can't
no.
get
no,
their
you
move
can't
sets.
you
And
can't lab against them, lab right against them unless you actually own the DLC
hmm.
for sure. Yep,
I never thought
and
about that
you
with fighting
better.
games. Like that's got to be a thing with all fighting games, right? But I never thought
Yes,
about that
yeah, it's a
until just
standard.
now.
Yeah, it's a standard. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if I quickly can think about it, like competitively on the competitive scene for MK11, because that's the other thing I watch hours of, honestly. Like I watch an hour of probably professional Mortal Kombat a day, probably. And three of like the top, we'll say like 8 characters or DLC characters. Yeah.
'Cause it's
Joker
Joker.
being number
Hmm.
one. Joker's oh my god, he's a monster. In the right hands, Joker can just, if he catches you in the right situation, like he can melt 60% of your life bar
But you
and
also have to
without
be
you
very
being able
good
to
with
get out of
them
it.
though, right? I mean, like
Oh,
it's not like
yeah,
the average Joe can pick up Joker and just all of a sudden be
yeah, no,
great
yeah,
at it. Yeah.
you have to be a savant. You have to
Mm.
be this absolutely unbelievably skilled person. But that's why I enjoy watching it because like when the stakes are really high, there's money at stake. Like a really good player with Joker can like do everything perfectly, and when it's his turn, where normal people playing it, it's like if you do a good combo, it's 30%, like 60%, 65% just to take your turn. Like who? And it's stuff that the game doesn't teach you either. Like it's self-taught, self-learned, community shared. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like if you put this together and this together and this together and this together, you can pull off this unbelievable thing. But by the way, your skill level has to be like insane to be able to
Hmm.
pull it off. And to watch these guys do it, it's like it looks easy, and that's how like, yeah, look, that guy shot a 3-pointer in the corner. That looks easy. I could do that. No, no, you can't. You're not an NBA basketball player. You know what I mean? Like same kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
when someone does something and makes it look easy, that's how you know they're really good at it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Got it.
Or are we having Jason fill out this list?
Yeah. I guess if you, do I need to now share my screen to
Go ahead, Logan. I'm
the
ready to
host? The
go.
host has disabled screen sharing.
Oh,
Caleb,
Come on, Caleb.
come on, buddy.
there you go.
All right.
All right, give me my
Okay.
F means F what?
F is finished.
Okay.
S is
S
stopped.
is
C is current.
stopped.
And P is planned.
Now, hold on, because you're sharing. Let me see if I can dynamically edit.
You
Do you
should be able
see
to
me in there?
Yep, I can see you
There we
dynamically editing.
go. All
All
right.
right,
I
so
stopped playing Dota Underlords.
mm,
I finished Ori. I finished Doom Eternal. Finished Resident Evil 3. I finished the remake of Final Fantasy 7. I did not play this, so I guess
we just left it
what is
blank.
that? Just a
It's a blank.
and I guess it's a blank then there too.
Mhm.
Streets of Rage. I finished. Maneater. I've stopped. Last of Us
Ooh.
Part 2 finished. Boo! Play Maneater. Ghost of Tsushima finished. Didn't play Paper Mario. Stopped playing Carrion. I finished Spiritfarer. I finished The Avengers. I finished Hades. I guess I didn't. For what I
It's fine.
for our purposes,
Yeah.
I finished
Yeah.
13 Sentinels. No, kidding.
Mhm.
Watch Dogs
Stop.
Legion. I'm gonna do stopped. Valhalla. Current. Demon Souls.
It's gonna be an S for me on.
I want to put
Oh.
C, but really probably this. I don't know.
I guess I hadn't fully updated mine yet either. So there's a.
Stopped. I guess begrudgingly. That in a pre-Yakuza world, but everything's different now. Bug Snacks stopped. Cold War finished. Astro's Playroom current actually for that one. I beat some of your times today, you jerks.
Damn it! All right, now I'm going in. I'm gonna have to go in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go see what I beat. Ellie, just a quick story. Ellie got so sad because we collected everything,
Mhm.
and she was like, she looked at me, and she's like, "What do we do now? What do we do now?" And I was like, I was scrambling. I was like, we could play it as much as you want, but we don't have anything to get. And I was like, she's right. We don't have anything to get. And I was like, wait, go to the speedrun screen. Go over there. And so we did that today. And she's just like, I forgot she was in the room. I was so like laser focused. She's like, did Elsa and Paige do this? I'm like, no, it was their dad. Is he really good at games? Yeah, he's
No.
fine. I'm just as good. Are you just as good as he is? I think so. I don't know. Whatever. I don't do.
Probably
And I was like,
different levels
"Hey,
are gonna be
Caleb's
different.
got this one." And she's like, "Yeah, you guys are like, we're all kind of like, it depends on the level."
Depends on the level.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Caleb's got this one." And she's like, "Dad, why are you so stressed?" It's like, because I can't beat Caleb's time. I was, you do it. She's like, I don't want to play this anymore. So she went from being sad to me ruining the experience for her by trying to beat your times. Definitely not playing Kingdom Hearts. Immortals stopped for now. Yeah, I can't put a C there. Continuing like you guys on Cyberpunk. Wide Ocean Big Jacket.
What
Oh, that
the
should be
hell?
an F there.
Oh,
I
okay.
finished that.
All right.
Have we even talked
I don't even
about
feel like
that
we've
on
talked
the
It came
about
out
podcast?
early in the year, so I think it was before we really podcasted.
Do you like that enough to keep it on the list? Yeah.
I like it. Is there something else that needs to go
Okay.
on this list?
Well, let's
instead?
find out.
Not
We got to
yet.
get to 41 here,
Death
and we'll
Come
let you know.
True. I like the Death Come True
Oh yeah, I don't,
thing being
that's
on there.
also
Murder by
yeah.
Numbers. Did you finish Murder? Yep. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Continuing. G.I. Joe not played. That is finished. Fast and Furious Crossroads not going to play it. Gears Tactics. I had to put a continuing on that. I bet I go back to that someday. 2K21 continuing. Mafia Remastered finished. Deadly Premonition 2 nothing. I finished Dark Pictures. I didn't see MLB on there earlier. Battletoads does not need to go on the list because it sucks. Let me make sure. Yakuza's on this list. Is 2K on this list? It is.
Yep.
Where's Spider-Man? I feel like
It's
I
up
missed
there. It's
Spider-Man.
Marvel, Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Marvel. Right. Thank you.
So yeah,
Okay.
this is 41 games right here, then, right?
Yeah, if you delete out these two
Here,
rows,
I
it's
gotcha. We do that.
that's
What
41
what
games.
luck?
I don't feel like there's
I don't
anything
have anything to
missing.
add to this list.
And Caleb's usually the one that's adding crazy stuff to this list.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of crazy stuff this year.
Um, God, I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm missing on this list. The only thing that's missing that I would like to give a shot at some point is the Sackboy Big Adventure game, but I just don't think
Yeah,
I'm.
played.
Ah,
I
shoot.
did play like 2 levels of that. It's not great.
Which explains why it's not getting like a lot of things.
Yeah, it's like it's. I mean, it's like the co-op portion of Little Big Planet, except for you can't rearrange stuff and have fun with levels and
Oh,
stuff
well,
like
who
and great
who wants
stuff.
to not have fun?
So it's fine. It's just not. I don't know.
Hmm. I'm just going through here. Like I'm gonna look up like Metacritic top games of this year.
Yeah, because
uh,
we could take out Battletoads and put something else there.
well,
If
Half
someone
Like
else wants to
Alex
go.
could have gone there, but now we can't throw that in there.
No.
Um, Animal
I
Crossing.
want a girl with a wide ocean and a big jacket.
Trying to look through here. Like a lot of it's like games that I don't know, don't quite like they're stuff from last year, like or it's like, hey, here's the top game. It's
Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5 Royal or Tony Hawk Pro Skater Remastered or Halo the Master Chief Collection made it to PC this year. Um, I'm just looking through all this. Super Mega Baseball 3,
So I should
Kentucky
make sure that my whole list is on here. I'm sure it is, but
Death Stranding on PC. um, Gosh, there was nothing else that we Neo 2. We never played that. I played Grounded, but that's not even like that's still an early access. Wasteland 3. That was a game you guys played.
very little of.
I don't need that on the list unless you really have a strong argument for it, Caleb.
Nope.
You like Gears Tactics better than that, right?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
about Genshin
There you
Impact?
go.
I didn't play enough of it to really have an opinion.
Okay. Yeah, Crash.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Okay, that's on there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to flip through all of these like top games of the year that were according to Metacritic. Like all these games so far is um
Did you sneak Mortal Kombat 11 on there?
God
I
damn
didn't
it.
do any. I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Are you telling me that Mortal Kombat came and finished Battletoads? It came in and just pulled a fatality, or maybe it
Do
was a
we have
friendship.
is Murder by Numbers on here?
It is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. Okay.
It is. It's right there on line 31.
Do I need to play like 2 Point Hospital or something? Uh Seems like
Yeah, everything that I played that I liked is on this list.
Paradise Killer.
I never got back to that.
Okay.
I only played it for a couple
It's a good call out,
hours.
Logan.
But I mean, if we need a 41st game, we could put that on there.
We're at this point. It's either Battletoads or Paradise, whatever.
Oh, Paradise Killer is better than Battletoads.
But is it better than Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate?
It is not. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've gone through at least all the games that have gotten like an 80 here. Catherine Full Body. That seems more like a
If
weird.
that doesn't, if that counts, then Mortal Kombat 11
Yeah,
counts.
that's true. All very true. I didn't know how different it really was.
That came out last year anyway.
Oh, this was like probably just the one that released on Switch, because it's considered a new release as long as it released like on a new platform this year. Oh, Star Wars Squadrons is not on this list.
And it will remain
Thank God.
not on this list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Jeez.
I
I
think we're
mean,
good.
it can
I'm
get
good with
cut
this.
very quickly. I mean, it's so really there's only like one or two games that didn't make the list of 41, and that's Star Wars Squadrons. Oddly enough,
I'm good with this. Let's leave it here.
Yeah, even like major outlets like GameSpot. The only difference is they put Persona 5 Royal on theirs, where you know we Caleb, you didn't play Royal, right?
I
Did you
did
play
for a couple
Royal?
hours, and
Right. Okay. I was just making sure that you didn't sneak that one, play that one again, and I missed it or played it through. So even if we wanted to count games like that, like the NK Ultimates or the Persona 5 Royals, we didn't play it. So that's fine. Look, you guys are gonna I at one serious moment here, and I know how Logan feels about this. He's been loud
What?
and proud about it.
what?
But if we don't count Game of the Year esque stuff,
Mhm.
like if we don't count re-releases with new content, so if we are saying MK11 now Ultimate doesn't count when it is truly one of my favorite games of all time,
Mhm.
then you guys have to accept the position that it puts us in. When if Logan, if a Kingdom Hearts game came out, like if they redid Kingdom Hearts 3 and it had 30 extra hours of content,
Oh,
the
you mean
game
like
isn't.
the one that came out earlier this year that I'm not including at all in this? Yeah, I'm not including that. There was a 10-hour DLC that got added in, and I'm not even including it this year.
yeah, I don't know where the
It's not the
line.
same argument, but
How is it
okay.
not?
I mean, that's because it's not a full retail release. It's
It got put in
different.
as a collection.
They're not the same. They're not the same kind of game. It's not the same positioning in the marketplace. It's a totally different thing.
There's a line. I just don't know
Um,
where the line is
I-
because like
how is it
Final
not?
Fantasy VII. Hang on, let me.
Okay,
Can I talk?
sorry.
Because like Final Fantasy VII remake
Mhm.
is a remake, but
Mhm.
we threw that in there without even a second thought. But then Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate we're throwing out without a second thought. So I don't know where in that scale our line actually is.
Because I consider Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate very similar to like what I would call a Game of the Year edition that has like, hey, we've released some extra content over the years and we put all of that extra content in one happy little package for you. That's what I would consider that. And that has been something that's been done for at least this last couple generations. I mean, you think about like the Arkham games were ones that were very similar to that. Like they would, same publisher by the way, WB, and they would so yeah, there'd be like two decent story DLCs and some like character skins, and they would come out with a Game of the Year edition about 18 months later. I would never
So
consider that a new release.
where if one of us had played and really enjoyed Persona 5 Royal, would that qualify for this list?
I don't think
That
so.
that kills me. That kills me, Caleb, because it would have been a huge hour commitment that one of us would have made, and there's a ton of extra content in that game. And if we felt like that it deserved to be on the list, or one of us felt like it deserved to be on the list, I would not want to put them in the position where I felt like they weren't heard. Like
If
if
Yeah.
something like that happens again, then like what we're the ground rule we're setting now is is a rough one.
it would have to
Is
make I guess what I'm thinking is it would have to have substantial new content or substantially have changed the content to the point where it was a completely new game. That's where I would go with it. And I'm not sure like when you look at like the Shadow of the Colossus thing a few years ago, like it was it was the same game, it was just some upres of graphics. But it was the same game as it
but
was.
that's but we are including Final Fantasy VII this year
Final
with
Fantasy, you guys have said
the
over and over again that this Final Fantasy VII is nowhere near what Final Fantasy VII was that basically what we have played was all brand new content, and like none of this stuff
Yeah, that's
existed.
true.
That's
But
where
what about
that gets
but what about Resident
completely.
Evil 3?
We considered Resident Evil 2 last year because it was a from the ground build up like redo of everything. Because you look at what that game was versus what it is now, and they're kind of different here. All right, hold on. We've got 2 minutes left in my eBay auction bid. So
Yeah, I'm trying to
continue
put
this
into
discussion.
word. I'm trying to figure out where our line is on this because I
And
honestly
I
don't
don't want to. What I'm saying, Caleb, and this isn't this isn't a selfish ask. Honestly, it's really not. It's what kind of corner are we painting ourselves in here? Because if we've set up some rule that we're all frustrated about in the future, then we've put ourselves in a bad position where we have no credibility and we turn around and do something we said we wouldn't do, and then on top of it, we do some games dirty
Okay,
along the
let
way.
me ask you this question, Jason. Are you passionate about Mortal Kombat 11 as a standalone game, or are you passionate about the content that they added in the Ultimate version, or both?
Well, but both.
Okay.
But I'm more interested in making sure that we don't feel like we're painting ourselves into a
Because
corner. I'm more interested in that.
if this is something that you're passionate about, then I think we need to put it on the list. If it's a game that that one of us has played a ton in this year that had a release in this year, I think it might need to be on here.
I guess my thought is how much different is it in 2020 than it was in 2019? That for me would.
A lot
Well,
has
you were just saying
changed.
like did
Yeah.
you were just saying that Joker is one of the most played characters, right? And that was a DLC character, right?
Yeah, he's a 2020 character.
So if it changed the scene that much from that character, and that's 2020 content,
A
So
lot of the variations have changed too. So like the meta, the the ins and outs and the actual way the matches go now have changed in 2020 quite a bit.
so the Game
But
Awards this year did something. I think that I don't know if this was a new category this year or not, but it was called Best Ongoing Game, and that might be where this would technically fall because otherwise you could end up with. I mean, if they're going to continue to make some really changes to this game for a couple of years, then does that mean this game's eligible every year? I mean,
it depends on how much it depends on how much I think that one of us individually spends time with a game.
and if it had a release in that year.
I
If
mean,
this was if this was just that, there was a couple DLC packs dropped, then I would feel differently than having a complete version come out.
And that's I think the difference that that's the difference I'm trying to make because it is a full retail release of a game. And
I don't
it
think
is
retail
eligible literally on
necessarily
every.
is the key word, but
has any other media outlet even considered it?
I don't know.
Uh,
The Game Awards gave it Best Fighting Game of 2020.
It
Speaking of the
also
Game
had.
Awards,
It also had. I mean, what other fighting game came out this year? I guess is my thought. I don't even know if another one did.
Well, okay, so another thing is here, like I'm the only one that played Paradise Killer, and I played it for like 2 hours. So like, it that's gonna come off the list immediately anyway. If it stays,
Hmm.
so why not put on something that deserves a mention?
here's the line in the
Hmm.
sand for me. If they had, it's exactly that, Caleb. Like if they had continued to release DLC, I don't think that I would feel the way I do. But they then did a everything encompassed release on a disc. They pressed a disc for it and they shipped a
Hmm.
new game. So that's to me feels like eligible to me. But I don't want to argue about it all night. Like if you guys feel like it shouldn't be on the list, if you feel that passionately about it, then I'll let it go. But it does set a precedent that could bone us later if one of us feels individually passionate about something, and well, sorry, Caleb, I don't care how much you like this. The rule's the rule. Like, what
I,
are we doing at that point?
I mean, with the thing is, with early access stuff the way it is now too, like it is the idea of what a video game release is at this point is very vague. I mean,
I
here,
feel like we have a 1.0 rule there that we've been able to follow.
right? But
Don't
I would
you?
say, well, here we're breaking our own rule this year, and we're making an exception for Cyberpunk. 1.0 is come and gone, and we're going to consider it for next year. I mean, we've already
Yeah, why?
breaking the
And
rules
so that exactly. So, what
Yeah.
are our motivations for considering it next year? That we're all
because
going to be playing it,
because we feel like the way that it shipped was actually version 0.96.
and so here we are,
Right.
where I think that there's some gray area there. Once
Yeah, I
again,
think since
between
there's so much gray area on everything that I think like I'm more willing to be just open about it, just because let the floodgates open, because if something does come up that I don't want to be pigeonholed, like you said, Jason, like if is it eligible or not, especially when things are so blurred.
I would
That
rather have the future flexibility.
yeah,
I agree with you, Caleb, that I would rather us be able to
Okay.
not feel like we oh man, we had this Shadow of the Colossus conversation years ago
Mhm.
that was contentious, and now we have to follow that rule. Like, why not lift that cloud over our heads and just
What if?
say whatever is
What?
whatever?
How about this? How about as long as there was actual new content released? So not so following the Shadow of the Colossus rule, that there was no new content in that game. It was literally
there was actually.
what was new content in it?
They put in coins you could collect, and then you got
Okay.
a
How
different
about
sword.
substantial
Okay.
Oh,
like
but that's eye of the beholder stuff.
a collecting of a
Like,
coin is nothing is like compared to like they actually did
Yeah,
they
Logan, I think what you're trying to put rules to something when I don't think we're gonna be able to put rules in the
but
future,
but
because these lines are all getting blurred.
but
There's
like I
so
will
much
say
gray
for Mortal
area.
Kombat they at least they added new characters and they added new story. To me that is substantial content.
Okay,
so
so
do
you're
you
in
want?
agreement
Should
that
we
it should be
put?
on here.
If it so yes, it is let's make it eligible. So let's say
What's the
Well,
actual title? Mortal Kombat
I
11 Ultimate
I think
Edition.
I think that's what it's called. Hold on, let
does
me
it
get the official Google.
all right, and let's because there are games out there that let's because games are a never evolving thing that it doesn't have to be a pressed disc. Like I'm talking to you, No Man's Sky, you know, Call of Duty, Warzone, that kind of thing. Like if all of a sudden next year they do something with Warzone that is like and all of a sudden we're playing Warzone between the three of us, somebody, I don't know, I don't guess any of us will, but does that would now make it eligible then? Just because I mean, even let's say one of us got really into Fortnite for a hot minute,
Or if there's a huge patch on Underlords next year.
right? Like that kind of thing that like it completely changes the world. Like it's something that there was substantial content that you put yourself into. Yeah, but I think as long as it's something new content wise, if it is,
I say it's this. If
mm,
you're willing to make an argument why it qualifies, then then we should listen to that argument.
mm-hmm. If
I
it,
yeah, that makes sense to me, especially if for some reason, man, I don't know, is Underlords isn't 1.0?
it
Is
is
it?
now,
It is
but
now,
like,
yeah.
It
but
is.
like,
I
look,
was like that's a good example though, is what I'm saying.
mhm.
Like if for some reason you guys got super into like a mobile game that has been early access forever, then goes 1.0 and you spend millions of hours with it, I guess regardless whether or not it's 1.0 or not, should we
but like,
accept
well, but
that
like,
as well?
let's say they flip the whole thing on its head. Like it's still called Dota Underlords, but they put into some whole new game around it. which is pretty much what they did with the 1.0 release, because the original release was just, oh yeah, you play chess against some people and that's it. And then all of a sudden with 1.0 it was like, oh hey, there's this huge map and there's all these challenges around how this all works around it, and like each map has its own hero, and you do all these different challenges under these different heroes. It was kind of its own separate game from what Dota Underlords was in 2019, which oddly enough I like 2019 Underlords better than I did 2020 Underlords.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So I guess I would say if it's substantially new content or substantially changes what the original game was, then it should be eligible. If I got to dig in patch notes to find out that they added coins to collect, I don't think that's substantially new content. So, but you can make your own argument for it, I guess.
Well, but then by that, Demon Souls is the same thing then.
I thought Demon Souls was on the list.
But that's what I'm saying is the only major difference between that and the original game is they added coins.
Oh, really? Is that it? The new Demon Souls?
Yeah. So, like...
Well, okay, how about this? When did first Demon Souls come out?
2009, something like that.
Oh, here, I thought it was going to be like 20 years ago. I was going to be like, if it is officially a whole generation apart, I mean, it's technically 3 generations, right? Because that was a PS2 game.
No,
So
it was a PS3 game.
it was a PS3 game. I thought it was a PS2 game.
So, it's like, you see what I'm saying? There's going to be so many exceptions and gray areas that I think it's just kind of like, if you think it belongs on the list, then we should probably just put it on the list and see what happens. I don't think we should try to pigeonhole rules anymore.
Yeah, I'm more in line to agree with that. Because it's probably only going to get weirder,
It might.
you know.
Mhm.
Yep.
And if one of us sinks a ton of time into something, like we all like to spend time with like full releases within this window, but like if for some reason, what's a good example? If for some reason I really love Yakuza, continue to play it, and then there's huge DLC next year, like should that not count? Because should I stop myself from spending another 30 hours with it because it won't count for our list? Like if we go down that rabbit hole, that's insanity. Like
So
play what you want to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think that's fair, but then I think the other thing to consider with it is that to say, okay, yeah, this is my thing that is going to be on the list. It'll be on the list of 41, but when it gets down to like making that top 10 cut, like
Well,
don't
especially if
don't fight
you're
too
talking
hard for
about
it.
Cross years, right?
Yeah, like if it's
Yeah.
if it's in your second, it's now in its second run, like maybe don't push for it too hard to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
But
that
it can
makes
make,
sense.
but it can make your personal top 10 as high as you want it to.
Do you want to put Remind on here, Logan?
Yeah,
No.
I'd be pretty damn happy if it made it on that list. I didn't include it because I spent a lot of time in Remind, especially with the data fights.
So whether or not you want to call that out as DLC or just Kingdom Hearts 3,
It would just be
if
called
it-
Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind.
now that's DLC specifically, so probably just put Kingdom Hearts 3 on
Well,
here.
are you calling it Mortal Kombat Ultimate? I mean,
Yeah, but that's the difference though. Is Remind is DLC and Ultimate isn't a full release. But I don't want to fight I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just saying in my mind that's where I saw the difference.
I'm just trying to think
And
of what
I'd
to take
even,
off.
as we horse trade these 41, like I
Which is
would
what's
I would be
happening.
willing. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be willing to
Mhm.
probably. I mean, Bugsnax is terrible. We can get rid of. No, I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding.
No, just if you
I'm
want to take
kidding.
something off, take Fast and Furious off. I'm not going to be mad about that.
Wait, is that on here?
That game is
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, that game. Yeah, okay, all right, it's gone.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Uh, maybe put remind. Let's put like colon remind or
I
something.
would.
That's fine.
That's what I'm.
That's fine.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it needs to actually note what the change was in
Yeah.
particular. Like, so let's just say, for example, one of us got really into Fortnite this year. Like, I would say that whole deal with the Marvel Galactus stuff would probably be like, hey,
Well,
Season of
yeah,
Fortnite
and
season 6,
3.
like, or
Yeah,
whatever it
whatever.
is that they're on. Like, that would, to me, would be
Okay.
like how we would note these things. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I spent probably 10 to 12 hours doing remind stuff. That's a full game.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
All right.
Is there
Sounds
anything
good.
else that you had left off the list because you were still thinking the old way, or
Not no, not me. And I really just mostly wanted to like. It's good that it's on there for me because I played it for. I mean, I don't even know how much I played it in early 2020,
Mhm.
but the the important thing I think for me was to set up ground rules or lack thereof or whatever our future holds for us
yeah.
because if we stop ourselves and say I'm not going to play that because it's not eligible for our dumb little projects list, like that is
Mhm.
so stupid. We
Yeah.
don't want to do that to
No, no, no,
ourselves.
no. Because I mean, who knows? That Avengers game, they might actually figure out what the hell's wrong with it, and maybe it turns into like a great game in a year. I don't know.
This is
So
the
it,
this is
there
the
you go. You
first
can
year
hope,
where I
Logan, right? This gives you hope.
yeah.
Like
This is the
they
first
could
year where I
fix that
haven't put a
game.
whole bunch of pressure on myself to finish like a bunch of games because of this. You know, because that's just not what gaming's about, right? If you start
No.
forcing yourself to do stuff you don't like, then you're gonna start hating the hobby.
Hmm.
So I'm with you, Jason. If we, if we want to play something, we should play it, not
Yeah, play it to have fun with it. Like
right.
that's yeah. That would I mean that's why I've been stopping some games that I know you guys like more. But it's like I'm sorry I wasn't having that much fun with Ghost
Yeah,
of Tsushima, so I stopped after
totally
8 hours.
understandable.
Like
Yep.
it was I gave it as best a try I could, but I'm not gonna not have fun just for the sake of I'm not getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Okay. So we have our list of 40-1, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, and the worst thing is I lost out on that Time Killers. It went. So
Oh no.
remember, so you know how I told you it
I
was.
saw your face. I was like, Mortal Kombat's not bumming him out this much. It's clearly Time Killers.
Yeah, I was just sitting there staring at my phone, like, oh, because it was at 63 when I mentioned it to you guys. And I went back at 9:55. It was already up to 76. And then I was like, okay, so I plugged in 80. Your bid's not high enough because you can like set your max bid on that. So you might be bidding, but it ain't going anywhere. So I went to 80, no, 85, no, 95, no, 100, no.
Oh, wow.
So I stopped after 100.
That's above market value, right? Isn't that
No,
what's market value
no.
for it? Oh, really?
Yeah, let me tell you what the market value is for it today. Uh, Inbox is 142.
Fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people put in. You can do the reserve price or whatever, or not reserve, but like
Buy it
whatever they're
now.
willing to go up to.
Yeah. Uh,
So I think a lot of people do that, and then at the end of the auctions, it's just like one of those is hitting right after the otther.
well, that's yeah. So that was what was happening because I had it held. It was a 5 day auction. I'd had the price at $65 or whatever, or I think 61 is what I had it set at. I had it all the way from 4 days up until this morning. So I thought I was sitting pretty, but I guess not. Yeah, like I'm just looking at this one right now. Buy it now for $140. Uh, there's multiple of these, like that you can. When I say multiple, there's not really that many, but there's a few copies here. I could buy the actual arcade motherboard
There
because
you
that
go.
does me a lot of good.
Oh, I
Uh,
actually watched a playthrough of that the other day, Logan, just because I was
the
bored
Time
while I was
Killers.
eating lunch. Yeah, yeah.
It's bad, isn't it?
I had never seen it. Well, it's just like I. It's so like the limbs getting chopped off, I was like, oh yeah, there's the immersion that I'm after.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, this is actually this game's
That's a
probably
real
up your
fighting
alley.
game right
Like
there.
that is, and then like when you go
It was why it made me laugh.
and when you go to like actually use that arm, like and you go to like punch with it, it just blood just squirts out. So it's like,
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh man.
there's a copy for 115 I could buy now. I don't know.
That's
I'm
not
doing
bad.
this.
If you were
Yeah,
gonna
the
go
top's a little
100.
frayed. The cartridge itself isn't in that great a shape.
You guys are ready for this?
I'm
On our
ready.
list?
Yeah.
Ready? Boom.
Oh my god, it's in alphabetical order. I don't know what to do.
That's
Yeah.
bothering me for some reason.
All right.
As well it should. So
Well, it gets your game of the year on top there, Caleb. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Sentinels.
There it is.
And Yakuza is in last place, the 41st best game of the year.
oh, you know what? We actually only have 40 games on here. Oh no, wait, there it is.
No,
Sorry.
42.
There-
Yeah, as
sorry.
long as it's 42.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first scrolled, it only said 41, so I don't know. Maybe I had a glitch on my end or something. Okay. All right. I like that there's 2 Kingdom Hearts games on this list this year.
Look at you.
I feel good about myself.
Wow. Only on the Master of Unlocking podcast, folks.
Will you get 2 will you get 2 Kingdom Hearts games in 1 year?
And with our new rules, apparently, Kingdom Hearts will have multiple games on every list from here on out.
Yeah, it'll be yes
Every year there'll
yeah.
be something. I'm like, there was something that came out this year. Actually, they did announce that there will probably be nothing from Kingdom Hearts until 2023.
Mm.
Because the main guys that are working on it are doing The World Ends With You.
Oh.
Oh, that makes sense.
They go back and
Is
forth.
that gonna? Is that? Do we know what platform that will land
I
on?
would assume Switch.
That's my guess is that it would be a Switch only thing because of the legacy of that
Hmm
of that that game, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they do other consoles. But that screams Switch release to me.
hmm Yeah, that has been a pretty exclusive DS, 3DS thing for quite a while. So we've gone pretty long tonight here, oddly enough. So
Yep.
so why don't we go ahead and wrap it up for the night then, and we will be back next time with Game of the Year. I think hopefully we'll figure out when we're going to do it. So. We'll conclude this week's Master of Unlocking podcast and see you sometime with the Random Food Challenge.